evening, everybody. Welcome to Free to Heal. Tonight we are blessed to have a facilitator, Mr. Terrell Tillman. He comes in. We get him at least once a month to facilitate, which is awesome. And so tonight, Mr. Tillman is going to be facilitating progressions and setbacks out of Formula for Success, Reentry 030. Okay. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Tillman. I'll be here. I won't be far away. I'll be right here. But let's go.
My book.
Let's go.
How everybody doing today?
Good. Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. You doing
Y'all good? Y'all hanging in there? Everybody ready?
Yo.
Everybody ready?
So today we're gonna get up in there, and the subject today is progressions and setbacks. And coming home from prison, we have expectations. We have short-term goals, long-term goals. And we don't think about what might deter us and what might be the barriers, because it's just like, I'm finna get out, I'm gonna do my thing, woo, 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 woo. But then it'll be like, oh, wait a minute, I ain't even got my social yet. I ain't got my ID yet. I ain't even got my birth certificate yet. So I gotta get them things first. And if you got out during COVID, man, it might have been 6-7 months before you got it. But luckily COVID has ended. And now people are getting their ID, socials, and birth certificates a lot faster, because once you're gone after 7 years, you are knocked out the California system, out of all the records of the DMV. So you got to go get your real birth certificate, not the abstract one, but the real birth certificate, so they can know who you are. And they can take it to the DMV, and then they put you in there, give you a little white slip for your ID. Then once you get your ID, you got to get your ID and go get your social if you don't have it.
Wow. I didn't realize that they knock stuff out after 7 years.
Wow. You're on in there, you out of there.
Wow.
You're out of there. You get taken out of the whole system. I thought I was fly. I did my little 11 years. I had my little old California ID and driver's license. I came in, I was like, yeah, I went to DMV. She was like,
and? Nothing.
Hurt my little feelings.
Uh-oh.
It's like, no, you gotta go get your birth certificate.
Right. Oh, hey,
so,
pretty.
But the lady explained to me that after 7 years, they knock you out of the system. And
they're legally responsible for 6 years of record. So it's usually the first.
Speak up so they can hear you, baby.
They're legally responsible for 6 years of records. So
you're pretty soft.
They really basically purge all of that information out and make way for whatever's new. So anything over 6 years.
Wow.
They're not required to keep.
And the way technology
what makes you mad is when you put your fingerprint down, and they come up with another name.
No, that's not everybody. He only had another name come up because it came up at a time where he could have several different identifications in that same thumbprint.
His birthday was wrote down in the Bible. It wasn't law.
Oh Lord. Okay. So yeah, he had lots of identities.
And if you went in, if you was convicted under a false name, that's your name when you come home.
Yeah. Yeah.
And lo and behold, my brother passed away, and we was looking for Lavelle Harrison, and he was in the morgue under Terrell Johnson. Because that was the name that he was
using.
It was alias name. Yes.
Wow.
And then with technology, after them 6 years, they just give your name and your credit and all that stuff to whoever the hackers is. They just have a ball with your name and your information. So when you get out, you gotta be, or before you get out, but since you guys are out now, you probably want to do a credit check and just do a sweep of your credit and your name. See if anybody who's been using your name and your credit and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that you won't be getting, I'm gonna go get me a car and get down to the dealership and they run your credit and you got some old bills that then overlapped and you got some stuff in collections and be like, I was in jail.
It's something you say that because I know somebody, and the lady was supposed to be helping him get ready to go to board, and she did, but she also helped herself to his credit too.
Yeah, she had all the information.
She helped herself to his credit and had opened all kinds of accounts and everything. And I don't know whether she paid them on time or whatever, but I do know that he found out that she had opened stuff in his name And the sad thing is that he actually was contemplating marrying this woman
Wow.
and found out that she did that, and it just killed everything. And I can't say I
That's
can't
a
even say I'm mad. It
That's a
is.
deal breaker.
Slide up closer, James. Can you come this way? You wanted to say something?
I had to go to, my sister took me down, had to take me down to IRS because IRS said I owe back taxes. And I was like, how do I owe back taxes? They said, you've been working. I said, working where? They said I was working on a construction crew. And when they brought up the picture of the individual that had my social security
Skinny
number,
dude.
it was a Hispanic guy.
Oh, wow.
And I had to go back and bring my mother in and my sister, and I had to bring my birth certificate and my old driver's license just to clear who I was, because IRS, they
It's numbers, names and numbers with them.
Names and numbers.
Names and numbers, and that's all you are. Is a name and a number for them.
You know, inside they were selling their Social Security numbers for like $25. There was guys in there buying them.
Yeah,
Really?
So that's the situation. So you want to try to get those first things established. Once you get your social ID or your birth certificate, you know, do a sweep of your credit. Make sure ain't nobody, you know, jacked up your credit, or if they boosted up, thank them and get your name back. What you gotta do. No,
Right.
my little cousin, he just got out doing 10 years. His auntie started a business in his name. Now that he's out, she's been dodging. But the business is in good standing. But it's in his name. It's a construction business.
Oh, wow.
So sometimes things happen like that. So you got to be careful. And this is the hack age. So people get your information. So don't be afraid to do identity alert and, you know, theft, you know, identity theft stuff because it's real. I got identity theft, so I have to do all kind of stuff. It's just how it is. That's how it goes right now. So that's technology for you, and people hustle, you know, on these computers and all this other stuff. So that's the way it is. But like I was saying, those little first goals, get your social ID, stuff like that, so that you can have your ID. Because you get pulled over and the police ain't got no ID, you're going to jail. Straight up, you're going to the station because they gonna be like, oh, you ain't got no ID? Oh, run with us. You know, all that you talking about who you are, you got to come with us. So it's even your prison ID is really not valid. They're gonna just really harass you then. So it all depends. It all depends on the officer too. If you have that type of run-in with the police, but that's why you want to get that stuff ASAP, because it's crucial so you don't be inconvenienced and triggered off and, you know, be out free and then ain't got no ID and go to the station and it's just all bad. So those are some of the first things. And when you get out here, you want to take your time and start checking off those short-term goals. Those short-term goals, those are the progressions that's going to keep you excelling and propelling you to going forward. You're going to feel good about yourself. You're like, yeah, I got my ID. Yeah, I got my social. Yeah, I'm going to go put in these applications. I'm moving forward. Kendrick.
I was thinking about Kid on my way here.
I'm reading about the claims. My wife says I can never find it.
What happened?
Hello.
Hello, I was thinking about you on my way here. I thought I haven't heard Kid's voice. So I'm glad
Yeah.
you're here.
I'm here.
Okay.
Okay.
You know, one of the things, Terrell, that you say is progressions are any matter or achievement that propels a reentry person's life forward in a positive direction. So any of the goals, the small goals that you set, the short-term goals that you set, when you achieve those, they make you, they inspire you to keep moving forward. You know, and everybody needs something to motivate them to keep them moving forward. Because there's always something to deter you or something to set you back and make you feel discouraged. Because, you know, we talk about it often, how the reentry system is not designed for you to make it. It's not designed to really help you and help you become an upstanding citizen. That's not what it's not designed for that. So understanding that is important.
Maybe 1 out of 10 pro officers will try to help you.
Say that again.
Maybe 1 out of 10 pro officers we'll try to help you.
Try to help you improve and get through the system and
Yeah.
yeah.
And I can attest to that. I think it might be maybe 2 or 3 out of 10 right now. It's a lot better now because the last 3 years when I was at WSAC, I had a whole lot of POs that would come up there or they would call me and they was trying to get the resources for their clients. You know what I mean? So it's changed a little bit, just a little bit, and that's only because it's hit home.
Mm-hmm.
It's hit home with a lot of the people and a lot of POs are younger now. There's not a lot of old 70-year-old paroles running around no more with that Jim Crow thought. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of younger parole agents and probation agents and federal agents as well. So it's hit home with them already, and they probably know somebody in their family or somebody close to them that they've been in prison and got out. So they have a different empathy, you know, for the people coming home, and they try to help people get them resources. And I've seen it myself. And I go to probation, I go to parole meetings, so they are doing a lot better than the way it used to be. You know what I'm saying? Because it used to be they come to your house like they 6 in the morning locking your butt up. I don't care what you did. A whiff of violation, you going to jail.
Yeah, that was
And they wasn't trying to get no resources for you at all.
We had one parole woman when I was at Francisco. She show up like you said, 6 o'clock. She walk in that house like she owned it. She walk in them bedrooms. She'll tell them, get your ass up because you're gonna piss there. And it's like whatever she wanted, you was gonna have to do. You know what I mean? And if you didn't, she was gonna violate you.
And you know, some of them it's like a tough love with some of them. Some of them might be some a-holes, and some of them might be doing it just to keep you up on your game. You know what I mean? Because if she pulling up in there at 6 in the morning talking about peeing, ain't no wait a minute, ain't no hold up. She getting that marinated.
Cause I used to sit on the porch, like I'd get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and cause you can't smoke in the house, and I'd go out and sit on the porch for 4 or 5 hours. So I'd watch her roll up, and I said, whoever she got, I feel sorry for him.
Well, maybe that was her way of getting her work done early in the day. Look, who knows?
Yeah, and you know,
You got some that come there and I had one tell me that I was on piss test. I said, no, I'm not. He said, yes, I am. I said, no, I ain't. He said, who's your caseworker? Who's your parole officer? I said, Fuller. He called Fuller. Fuller said, nah, he ain't on piss test. He said, I want you to piss anyway. I told him, kiss my ass. I'm pissed. Because they're trying to lock up as many as they can of us in any way they can. You got some of these new ones that just came out the pen, but then you got some of these old dogs that's, like you say, some old dogs that he know federal that want to lock you up state.
There's something wrong with this thing today.
Fuller say, don't let the police.
I don't know what's wrong.
Well, you know what? I killed a dude in the bar, 2 of them, but so you think I'd piss test, right? But my first parole officer showed up, and he wanted to write down my drugs, right? So I went and got my medical because I got a copy before it came out, which is a good idea. After he opened that thing up and started taking pictures, and I was taking morphine, and what are you gonna piss test me for?
Right.
So he finally just said, you know what, I'm not gonna piss test you. And after him, every parole officer come up, they said, well, do they piss test you? I said, no.
No, because you was radioactive. You had so much stuff going on already. They didn't need to, he was radioactive. Yeah, he was taking morphine. That was gonna blow up every test that there was. I also liked in here, when you talk about getting reacquainted with a spouse, relatives, and new associates is a form of progression. But I also know that there are setbacks. There can be setbacks associated with that too. When I think about some of the families that have been reunifying at the Francisco homes in the different circumstances where I was counseling people, and how you think it's going to go one way, and what happens is something derails it, or people are not getting their expectations met. They expect it to be one way, and when you come home, it's totally different.
Your family's afraid of you. My
Yeah.
sister was.
And there are triggers. Somebody may get triggered off easily. Through the presence, through the voice, through the posture, whatever. And normally when people come home 5, 10, 20, 30 years, it's a whole different aura. And the people who are on the streets ready to receive them are expecting that same person and that same aura to come back to that door so that they can address where they left off at.
Right.
When you went to jail, this is where was happening right then. And this, I remember that. Just like I remember when I went to jail where I was at. Other people remember where they was at too. And a whole lot that went by. So they can't wait to get you in front of them and try to grill you on whatever their situation is. And it could definitely go bad.
And what they want from you is going to vary from person to person, because some people want you to be the exact same person. Some people want you to be nothing like that. Some people, usually it's the mothers and everybody that want you to be nothing like that, so that they don't lose you again. Yeah. But it's the people in the street that other friends and relatives that want you to pick up where you left off, so that you can serve them, not serving yourself.
True that.
Because it's all about what their issues are. Hey, big fella with the blue hat on, don't you do that right there.
And when I came home after the first time, 11 years, I went over to my homeboy's mom's house visit, and these jokers say, "Oh, we've been waiting on you to come home. We've been waiting on you to get out." And I looked.
Like, why?
Said, "Been waiting on me to get out after 11 years." What you out here doing? But they instinctively told me, get the hell away from them. This conversation is over.
Right.
Because they was expecting me to come out, get the bag, and I got the yay some more. We finna get back in the game. We finna go open up shop. We finna get money. It was like, no.
I got family. I got kids.
You ain't give me a bar of toothpaste. A bar of soap. You ain't gave me a toothbrush, toothpaste, t-shirt, socks, and drawers, or nothing. But you talking about you was waiting on me. 11 years. So it's just like, you have to understand that some people out here didn't progress while you was in jail, progressing your mind and getting yourself together. So when you come back out here, now you can push forward. A lot of people is in a prison out here in their mind. They stuck, they stagnated, they ain't going nowhere. And it'd be so funny because when we come home and we start little progressions, getting a car, get a job, wearing nice little clothes. We supposed to wear brand new clothes because we fresh out of jail, right? It was like, oh, you always got on something new.
Well, all the old stuff was gone.
I was in jail 10 years, and guess what? I need new stuff, and that's what I'm supposed to have.
So what was I supposed to go to the Goodwill and just get to make you feel better? I was supposed to get,
But people take it personal because they feel like they've been out here and they haven't been able to buy them nothing, but they've been out here slacking. And then some people out here, they got kids, they got different bills, so they can't spend money lavishly on themselves, because they got other priorities. But some people really be jealous of that. Some people be really jaded of that, And
they wasn't jealous of them in 11 years, though, was it? They wasn't jealous of none of them days you did in the penitentiary.
And they didn't even show up in court.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, but those are the things that to pay attention to and not take that stuff personal. Just know that it don't have nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them, and how they feel about them is really not about you.
And the expectation, what I tell them, I'm not a magician. I'm not a magician. Give me time if I'm supposed to change something or you want something to be different, but I'm not a magician.
What used to be funny for me, Wood, you know what I'm talking about? Homeboy, all that shit. And when I was inside, the white dudes come up to me and say, "Hey, homeboy." And I look at him, I says, "You from Compton?" They say, "No." I said, "But you ain't my homeboy, dude. You in the wrong place."
Because that's where he grew up, is in Compton. Okay.
Basically, he ain't from the wood pile.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? He ain't from the dirty white boy.
Okay.
He ain't from the Aryan Nation. So those are things that you just got to keep in mind when you're dealing with your family, because these things are inevitable. You're gonna run into them. You're gonna have these issues with people. But like Noreen said, don't take it personal. Don't take it personal. Don't listen. Don't take none of this stuff that people that don't know you and say something to you or act a certain way. Don't take none of it personal. Even people that's your family, because they don't know you and you don't know their ass.
Mm-hmm.
So your best bet is to pay attention, keep your satellite dishes up, see with your ears and hear with your eyes,
Mm-hmm.
and pay attention, and just play it by ear while you're around them. And then you process it, and then you do your evaluation when you get away from, like, man, they over there tripping for real. So you can understand if you even want to, the time you want to be spending over there, or how you have to approach rekindling and reunifying with your family. How to feed them with that long spoon or a short spoon. And it's up to you, because you ultimately control your own destiny, because you make choices when you go around them. If you have that ability, if you have the affordability to, drive yourself around or whatever. I know sometimes you stuck because they your ride, and it's like you just got to just be tortured with the conversation and the BS and the phone calls and all the other energy. So you just got to bear with it, but just take notes and process it, analyze it.
Let me ask you this question. And I'd like to get an answer from as many people as possible too, is what is the number one thing you do to deal with a setback? What do you do when that comes? When you have a setback on something, what's the number one thing that you do to address that setback?
Go, Rufus, it's on you. Answer that.
How you gonna do it?
Well, for me, you guys are frozen. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. For me, well, I just had one, yesterday almost, and I was disappointed, but I take it for what it's worth. I see what it is, and I try to accept it for what it is. You know what I mean? And if I can change something, I change it. It's almost like the serenity prayer. You know what I'm saying? God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change. If I can't change it, then I accept it for what it is. If I can change it, then it's my responsibility and my duty to change it. And like you said, the wisdom to know the difference between the two, and that's important. And it's important. So the answer to the question really is that I just see it for what it is, and if I can't do nothing about it, hey, I move on. I try to, plan for something different.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. It does. Yeah.
And a whole lot
And you guys are freezing. I don't know if you can hear me, but
no, we ain't freezing. We just look like
but that's what I do. That's what I do. I deal with it that way, and it's like what Noreen said. I don't take nothing. Well, I try not to take anything personal.
Mm-hmm.
I feel it, and I try. I digest it, and it's like getting pushed down. I pick myself back up. I fail, meaning I felt it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I get myself back up and say, okay, what are we going to do now?
Yeah.
This is the circumstances. What am I going to do now? And I deal with it that way.
That's a good approach. I like that. Mr. Terry, are you around? Because you can't get credit for just showing up.
And you know what, Rufus, what I really liked about that is you said, I took it personal, but then I have to check myself. Because if it's directed to me, I'm taking it personal, but I can't respond personally. Like, you know what I mean? Like, ooh, that was cold right there. But let me not respond in a negative way. Let me not meet you in that negative way. Let me check myself like, okay, you got that off.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I got to regroup on for real.
And what it is that it's not because of you. You know that, and then that takes a little bit of the sting out of it. And then that allows you to take a step back and move forward. Patrick, talk to me.